are back. It is Thursday night, Saints Block Party podcast. We didn't have a break, but in case you didn't know, um, I was in Indianapolis for, I don't even know what time the fucking is anymore. Um, Tuesday? Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, yes. Tuesday and Wednesday. Covering the combine for our podcast for a very brief stint. Thank y'all for joining. We already have 16 people in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're listening to this on whatever audio platform you listen to, please 5 star, subscribe, all of that. I apologize if my energy is a little low. A little exhausted. A little exhausted. Um, but we have a lot to talk about. Uh,
Lots.
I already have what is it? A Who Dat Fire Mickey already in the chat.
We here, baby.
Already.
Already. Already.
Uh, but I'm not gonna before we get into the Saints per se. Even even though it's a brief period and technically like we're not done. Big shout out to our dude Jake Breslin. I've known Jake dating back to draft countdown days. Our dude Scott Wright. Honestly, probably if it wasn't for Scott Wright who ran draft countdown back in the day, I wouldn't I, I wouldn't be in the draft, and I wasn't if I wasn't in the draft, I probably wouldn't be a football fan. Known Jake from back those days in the forums. Luckily, Jake is going to be in Indiana, like for like a meet, and he's going to travel 2 hours from what he's staying to go to Indy and cover Friday and Saturday, being like an honorary member of the podcast, getting
Wow.
interviews for us for wide receivers, for running backs, and for the quarterbacks Friday, Saturday. I think he's actually going to stay and actually watch them work out as well. Jake coaches D1 track, so he's going to have that perspective when they're actually
Yeah.
working out to see how they run. And so he has a completely different perspective watching
Oh, yeah.
athletes run because that's literally what he does. Um, so shout out to Jake. If you're not, I'll put his information up on Twitter so you can follow him because he's going to be putting clips and everything up from the pressers from the offensive players. So big shout out to Jake. Funny thing is, I've known Jake for like 20 plus years. I've never met Jake in person. We were supposed to meet this week, but like it just didn't work because I had to be back in Los Angeles for work today, or else I would have stayed the rest of the week. Not
It's
gonna let
crazy.
this, yeah, not gonna let the Saints dim our podcast shine because
No,
this
hell no.
this even though it was brief, um, me being there and I hate that you couldn't be there. And obviously the goal is for us to go next year, be there next
FOMO
year.
was hitting, bro. FOMO was hitting. Damn.
It was. It was a grind, but
Oh, yeah.
being there and just seeing like the Senior Bowl is one thing, but the combine's
Woo. Completely different, bro.
completely different, man. Um, all the lights are out. I want to give just a couple of shout outs to. Want to give a shout out to our dude Greg Rosenthal. I'm gonna
Great.
be repping our podcast on Sunday night on NFL Daily, doing on NFL Daily recapping the combine with Greg. Got to meet Jordan Rodriguez in person. Jordan, a star in person
Oh, yeah.
as she is on the podcast. Courtney Cronin, who organizes and hosts the women combine happy hours. This I believe this is the 7th year of her hosting it. Um, Me and Greg got invited by Jordan to be there. Honestly, felt a little weird because I kept asking Greg. I was like, can we go? Can we go? Like, I don't want to be a man in a place where I shouldn't be. Like, I just That's just like if there's
Right.
like something that's a function of like this to represent black people,
Right.
a fucking white person just like that didn't want to be that person, and he's like, no, like they want allies there too, but being there and just an amazing thing, and we've all heard the combine stories, and Greg was like, no man, like we went to St. Elmo's and had dinner at St. Elmo's, and while
St.
we were having
Elmo's.
dinner at St. Elmo's, Greg Cosell was having dinner at a table right next to us. And
Dang.
Greg looked at me. He like what's up? It's the football world is
Amazing.
so small. It's
So small, bro.
so small. Um, so it was really cool, man. It was really cool. But I guess just gotta talk about the Saints. Um, Derek Carr back. Derek Carr back.
Apparently so, bro. Apparently he is back like he never left.
There's a lot of ways to read this. Um, I know the first inkling is someone like people who can't stand us would just be like, "Oh, Adam's wrong. Like you guys are wrong." No, that's like not like if people like listen to like our podcast and listen to like what we say. I think the if you're a Saints fan, if it actually turns out that he is back, and every indication shows that, I still need to see it. Is he not? Is he probably like 80% back? Yes, but I still need to 100% see it. There were just I'll just there's something being in that space in Indy. It's very close knit. There's only select bars. Everywhere downtown, everyone's going to the same bars. We were just in some spaces. I had to be out, had to kind of listen. As our dude Kevin would say, it would have to kind of goon. I'm just there there is a team that would like to have Derek Carr as a quarterback. I'll just keep it at that, bro. I'm not going to put the team out there. Um, but if you're a Saints fan, I would say the biggest thing that's worrisome if he is back is that Kellen Moore had his first test as a head coach and he failed it.
Yep.
He went from if I'm the head coach, I don't want Derek Carr as my quarterback, and in a span of what I don't know, a couple of weeks, not very long, the general manager, and I've said this repeatedly that Mickey has wanted to bring Derek Carr back for 2025 over and over and over again, even over and over and over again. And I don't know if it was even I wouldn't even use the term strong armed, but I think he was coaxed into believing and persuaded that if he is back, that's the that's the way that it should be. And if you're a head coach, if you don't have conviction, I'm not saying this is like it's gonna define his tenure as head coach. It just doesn't it does it's a very different, I'll just say this. It's a very different vibe than AG having a very clear decision of how he felt about Aaron Rodgers.
Clear. Clear, bro. Wasn't even a week.
Nope.
Out of here.
They had a conversation. He said, "Hey, if we're gonna come back, this is what it needs to look like. You can either get on board or not." Aaron Rodgers didn't get on board.
Peace. Peace. Failed that test, bro. Like it blew. It was a burst of a bubble. It was a nice little positive ride. Past couple of weeks, Coach Teefs out here. We boosting them up. Excited. New blood, fresh opportunity. Just an exciting new look of just a new turn for this, like dry, stale, mediocre organization. And mediocre is being very kind, very kind.
Very.
And it's like just a blown opportunity, just a blown opportunity to really start fresh. And I get all the reasons that people say they're going to do it. They do it because of the cap, because it's going to make it easier to manage the cap with the aging players, the blah, 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 blah. Hear all that. I know the economics of it, completely understand it. Still doesn't make any sense from a football standpoint. Doesn't
No.
make any sense. You have the Tampa Bay Bucks a couple years ago coming off, Tom Brady and his salary and all that. $80 million in dead money the Tampa Bay Bucks had to carry. Went to the season with Baker Mayfield, who was getting a minimum salary, who was coming off of being a journeyman for a year after getting cut by the Panthers, which nobody, he was in a competition with Kyle Trask. It was like nobody thought the Tampa Bay Bucks would do anything. $80 million in dead money. And they went on and they feisty team and they went on and won the division back to back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Young now they got a young roster. They drafted well, cap space. They could keep on building. Is Baker Mayfield like the long term answer? Still kind of up in the air, but they got something going. The Broncos a year ago this time they were in hell. In hell, just let go of Russell Wilson carrying like 65 million in dead money. What are they going to do? How are they going to build a team? Barely got draft picks. Just coming off a playoff run, just made it to the playoffs with a young, surprising rookie quarterback. Things looking upbeat for the Broncos. And here go the Saints with an opportunity, a risky opportunity. I mean, I wouldn't even call it risky, but look, you would have had to swallow it. You know what I'm saying? You would have had to swallow it this year. It would have been a little tough. But with a chance to just turn the corner and really build towards something with like a goal in mind, like an actual goal. Like let's make a goal of being a contender. Let's make a goal of being one of the great teams in this league for years to come. Let's have that be the goal. Nope. Let's just try to win the NFC South, baby. Let's just be in the hunt. Let's go try to win 8, 9 to 10 games
Get in the
and
playoffs and
get the playoffs.
and do what?
Then
Like
what? Then
that's the
what?
end game. That's like you said in a Discord. That's
That's
the end game.
it.
Like, let me catch up on the chat real quick. So there's Sports Highlight said, I don't think Kellen Moore is the alpha like people tried to portray. No one at all,
That was his
no
number one
one
question.
at all tried to portray Kellen Moore as an alpha. No one. That was like his biggest critique of becoming a head coach is that he
Yeah.
wasn't that. So it we'll see how it plays out. And then Jack Hunter said they're gonna tank next year. Part of the plan.
What are you watching? Like, what are you listening to?
If they do it, it is not gonna be organically. It's like they are not trying to. I will tell you
It's
that
not.
much.
It's just not how they operate. They're showing you how they operate. They don't operate like that.
Oh
They don't
no,
operate like that.
I really want. And one of the so there's two questions I really wanted to ask and I didn't get. Well, there's three. One was to one was to Bill Ben Johnson. Didn't get to ask him one. One was to Brett Veach because I really wanted to ask him why teams don't use the transition tag more often. Because first I was going to ask him would they consider using the transition tag on Trey Smith? Because man, things happen so quickly in the NFL. Because if you would have asked people when was that Chiefs presser? So that was Tuesday. If you would talk to people on Tuesday, it really sounded like they were not going to they weren't going to franchise tag Trey Smith. Like
It's
they were
crazy.
gonna. It sounded like they were like if talking to people on the floor in Indy, and I'm talking like NFL people, like insiders. Um, it really felt like they were gonna let him test the market, and I really just wanted to ask Brett. And I know we get back to the Saints. We're just talking all over because I'm not really letting the Saints ruin my vibe. Um, from a football perspective, like why teams don't use the transition tag more often. It's a great tool that teams just don't use. And I wanted to ask if they were gonna potentially if they would use it on Trey Smith, but then today they franchise tag him. But I really wanted to ask. I was gonna say Bill Callahan, Brian Callahan. You know, you were so honest in making this statement during the season of saying like this season was to evaluate Will Levis because you don't hear teams talk like that in the NFL. It just
No.
doesn't happen. It does not happen. And I wanted to ask one. what eventually did that evaluate? Like, where did you end up with that evaluation? And two, how is that evaluation playing into what your thinking is with the first overall pick? Wasn't able to get that question in. I really tried to. But I said in our Discord, if it just feels like Mickey Loomis already is trying to save his desk. So it's already what it is. Like it's a
Yep.
desk saving opportunity. And
That's it.
take away the play. Just remove the play element. Let's remove Derek Carr's play out of the equation. 3 seasons in a row, you have an aging quarterback that has not shown that he can stay healthy. His last season in the Raiders got hurt. Ended the season. It wasn't on IR, but he ended the season hurt on the bench.
Yep.
First season with the Saints, Derek Carr got hurt. Last season, we all know what happened. Superman gets a Giants game. I was at. Did not see the rest of the field since. So even if you're trying to take the play out of it, you don't even have a quarterback that is showing you that he can stay healthy.
In his mid 30s, prime is past him. It's like,
Well, and what was
what's
the
the
quote?
vision?
What was the quote? What was the quote regarding like the quarterback they can win with?
Yeah, he said, if we feel like we have a quarterback that we can win with. That was Mickey Loomis' statement.
But
Just
he has legitimately not won in the NFL. So
14-13 with the Saints, it's like, I guess that's a winning record, I guess. Yeah.
okay,
It's like,
all right.
I don't. I get it. I get it from their perspective, but I don't get it from a football perspective. I just like you want more for yourself, man. It's like such a hard cap on, like a hard ceiling on what the Saints can be, and I think that's what when you saw so many Saints fans just deflated by that news. It's just like a cap on your excitement. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even even with, like,
Oh,
some young players, even like a Spencer Rattler, who we know didn't win any games last year when he played for all kind of reasons. You know, very well could have say if he played next year, it could be completely horrible. Could have been,
right.
win 2 games maybe. You know what I'm saying? But there's just that unknown of, like, man, maybe, just maybe.
Mhm.
And it's like with Carr, it's like such a hard ceiling. Like, it's like, no, we know
Oh,
how this is going to end. Like, even at best, you win in what, 9 games
eight,
at best,
8, 9 games
8, 9 games. Maybe if something spectacular happens, you get 10 wins. Woohoo!
with this defense.
Oh, I'm not saying it's likely at all. I'm just saying,
Oh
like,
no, just
maybe
like
just like if maybe Kellen Moore is just like a hell of a coach, and he just come out just.
that's what it would have
And
to be. It would
and then they
have to
draft
be
they
that.
draft they draft Ashawn Genty, and he just has like a 2,000 yards. Who knows? Like, what I'm saying, just something crazy happens. But it's like it's just such a hard cap on how far this can go. And then you just think back on, like, the playoffs. You had, Jaden Daniels, and you had, the Eagles, and you had all these exciting teams, Lamar Jackson and the Buffalo versus Chiefs, and like just big time football, like just heavyweight shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like.
You remember the exercises we used to do in elementary school, bruh? And you would just have to find like which one of these pictures doesn't belong.
It's like,
Oh, circle this one right here.
it's like Saints, like, y'all really believe, y'all, like, no way they believe that. And it's like they're gaslighting us, man. Like, I read, like, Kellen Moore's statement to the media, which I had to read because, it's not like they tweeted it out, or they didn't put
Oh,
out like a transcript or nothing like that. It was like
oh,
closed door,
oh yeah, because it wasn't. There was no even there was no live tweeting of
no
that
live
either.
tweets, no video, nothing. It was just this
Which
little
is
secretive closed door
which.
meeting.
Can you explain this to me? Joe Shane had some of the most embarrassing mistakes you can make as a general manager in football. Almost football history. Like the levels of bad it was
Whew.
because of how public it was.
Yep.
Everyone saw it. There's clips of it. There will be memes of it for the end of time. And it ends in a way that like it's not like, oh, Saquon goes off and has like a little like a nice season. He almost breaks Eric Dickerson's record. He wins a Super Bowl for your hated division rival. And people also forget that Xavier McKinney also like just goes to the Packers and just has an unbelievable season, leading the league, I believe, in interceptions. That goes like under the
Oh
radar.
shit! I forgot about that.
That's what I'm talking about. That. Do you understand the level of incompetence Joe Shane made last season as a GM? It is next level. Here he was on Tuesday. I could attest to it because I was on the floor. 7:30, Ryan. Them niggas was lined up.
Tear that ass up. Thank you, froze, bro. Oh, I did. Hold on, folks. Be back shortly.
Okay. You got me?
Yep.
Okay. Don't know what that was. I apologize.
Well, you said them niggas was lined up.
Line up. You would have thought it was a porn star and a gangbang was about to happen the way they was lined up for Joe Shane, bruh. And yet, and I get it, it's part of his job. He's getting paid very handsomely, and he fucked up. But your job is you have to own that. You need to go and own that, and you have to go and you have to speak to the goddamn media. And he stood up there for 15 minutes. I didn't hear a single question because it was to the point I was just thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm not even putting myself in that. Let me go ask Terry Fontenot a question. Let me go ask other people a question because that was going to be a madhouse. Didn't even have anything. I didn't even have anything I needed to ask him because I already knew everything that he was going to be asked anyway. If Joe Shane could do that with all the eyes and all the scrutiny that was on him in a much fucking bigger football market, you're telling me that you can't, you're having a controlled, like the Saints legitimately like ran their little media thing that they did on Wednesday like the Trump White House did, like the
Right.
Trump White House does. And that's
Let's
no
get
more
the
hyperbole
AP.
either.
Like, let's get the AP out of here. You know, like that type of shit. Like, just weird, bro. A closed door press. I don't. Maybe that's happened before. I don't remember. Like, as somebody who follows every bit of Saints, I don't remember nothing like that happening.
I don't remember them not there not being any videos. I don't remember there not being any live tweeting because I didn't even see any like back and forth dialogue.
No,
Like, was there questions asked or like everything was like a every tweet was a summary, bro? It was a summary.
it was a 1 hour. It was a 1 hour closed door conversation with Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore. And like I was saying, I was reading like part of what Kellen Moore was saying, and he just was going through the roster on how good the roster is, going like through each like position group. Like, man, we got these two great
Bro,
linebackers. We
I
got
saw that and I was like,
like,
stop lying to my God.
like
Them niggas
nigga,
lying to
you
my
just like,
my
come on, Kellen. Like, don't tell me this can't be you, Kellen. This can't be you, bro. Like, this is the time to be real, bro. This is the time. This is not your roster. It's not
who
your roster. So you don't even have to take any blame for this roster right now. Like, why are you being He-Man for this roster?
give you another example. I was oh, what team was it? I can't remember who. I think it was maybe Dan Morgan. Maybe it was Dan Morgan. I think it was maybe Dan Morgan, and he was just very honest, and he said, "Our defense has," and that's sorry, that's the GM of the Carolina Panthers. Speaking to the media, and I got a question into him. Got a question. I got a lot of questions in to a lot of different people because they were available. Um, and I asked, but the question he was upfront and honest and said, our defense has to be better. Our defense isn't good. It's not good enough. It has to be better. Why is that so hard to have transparency? Like, because when you're not giving transparency, you're not giving, if you're not giving honesty, what you're basically doing to the fan base, you're trying to tell us that our eyes is fucking lying. Me
Yeah.
and Ryan and Saints fans, we saw the Tampa Bay Bucks run for 299 yards last season. Sean Tucker was NFL Offensive Player of the fucking week for a fucking reason.
Against a healthy defense, a healthy Saints defense.
So like, can we stop with all the fucking platitudes? Can we call shit like it is? Is that why?
Please.
Is that why when we requested to be at this closed door Saints media, that there was not a peep? Like someone would, I would love to understand the rationale that we got credentialed from the National Football League, but we couldn't get credentialed from the New Orleans Saints
Who we cover.
when the Saints are a part of the National Football.
Who we cover every week. Like what? Oh,
That's
closed door meeting. Closed door meeting. That was hilarious. Like I started seeing like the tweets, the after tweets. I'm like, what is going on? Like everybody just like a summary. Like what is happening here, man? And it's just like this team just never surprises me, man. It's quite amazing. It's quite amazing, and all that it was because so they could hide from any kind of scrutiny, man.
that's
They
it.
don't want scrutiny from the outside media. And this is not really trying to throw shade on local media because they're gonna get their
No,
questions in and stuff like that. But they just want it controlled. They don't want the people to hear the questions the media asks. They want like just their controlled message to come out. And
yep,
it's like, and then you just, like you said, bro, it's just gaslighting us, bro. Just like we know what we watch, man. You can't sit here and tell us that this team is really ready to compete. You know what I'm saying? They really compete. Like, okay, yes, maybe theoretically they compete. They even win an NFC South. All the other teams getting better. Panthers are getting better. Tampa Bay Bucks are getting better. Falcons are getting better. Got a young quarterback that might come out and blow people away next year. Everybody get better. I don't see where the Saints getting better at. Maybe in this draft, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? Like that's maybe Mickey saying like they're gonna be a little more aggressive in free agency this year than they were last year. You know, it's like that's your vision, bro. Like
and also like Gail didn't open the checkbook, like she didn't open the checkbook last year because of not win. So she didn't open the checkbook last year because the team didn't win. She's gonna open the checkbook this year after they won 5 games.
like what?
Anyway, I wanna play this real quick. It's tangentially related to the Saints, but I asked former Saints coach Sean Payton, growth. What, how he's grown the most, from his time as Saints head coach to where he is now. And I know people have like mixed feelings when it comes to Sean, but one thing I appreciate, one, still just an oh, someone asked me that in the chat. I think they asked me about Sean Payton. There was a Sean Payton question. If you're still listening, if you put it back in the chat, I'll answer it. But just a brilliant football mind, man. Just like I literally could have just stayed and listened to Sean talk football, like for hours. But I asked him like what has changed and how he's grown the most as a coach with this time from the Saints till now. Okay, Louisiana asked, Yeah, I asked you if you heard anything interesting for Sean Payton. Someone asked him regarding tight ends, and I don't know the question exactly. Oh, it was about like kind of like the receiving blocking tight end thing, and he basically the answer was, it's something that he always asks the scouts, like, how the tight end is in blocking, but historically it's always easier to find a tight end that is a better natural receiver, as a coaching staff you're able to kind of teach him to coach that player to become a blocker, as opposed to having someone who's more just a blocker and to coach that person become
To a
a
receiver, yeah.
receiver. Just little things like that, bro. Just I love it. But this was Sean Payton in regards to his growth of over the years.
Get a little wiser, and you don't stress about some of the things that you learn. What's worth burning your calories and energy on. You get a little bit more wiser relative to understanding what's really important, and then maybe something that's not at all.
And then you can't hear it, but then I asked him, in football or in life, because I got to go a little deeper, right? And he says
Both.
He said both.
My coach right there.
my coach, bro. My coach.
You just immediately see talking to him is like, okay, this is why players believe.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can see instantly why you can get players to believe. You know what I'm saying?
You can. No, it's just you make so much sense. I'm gonna play two more quick clips from Dan Quinn and Nick Sirianni talking about Kellen Moore's and kind of their thought process of him becoming a head coach for the Saints. And then I'm gonna take a break. Then we can listen or break from here our sponsor from Underdog Fantasy, and then we'll come back and then kind of wrap up, because I think we're about 30 minutes because it kind of clipped off when we restarted. But first, we're gonna start with the clip hearing from Nick Sirianni, Super Bowl winning Eagles coach, here, because I asked him what Kellen's impact was with the Eagles as offensive coordinator and how it could translate to him being a head coach for the Saints.
For Kellen, what did he bring to the offense last season as the OC, and then how did those qualities transfer to him?
Yeah, I think Kellen just does a really good job of taking everybody's input and then figuring out what you have to do. There's a lot of different areas where you're getting input, and because it's a collaborative thing. But at the end of the day, Kellen had to make the decisions of what was best for the team, and I thought his collaboration of leading with everybody and valuing everybody's opinion, but also ultimately making the tough decisions that he had to make was outstanding. And I think that really stood out with everything.
And then
Doing too much damn collaborating
I
right
would
now.
say I have a good sense of what Kellen is. He's a fantastic play caller. I think that's at the core of being on an offense and doing it in different ways. That's what makes an excellent coach. And so what Kellen's offense looked like this year was different than in LA and also different in Dallas. And I think that's the mark of an excellent coach, to find the things that feature the players the best. And I think over the last 3 years, Kell has really demonstrated that, from Dallas through LA and then to Philly. So deserving for him.
what does Derek
Stuff,
Carr
man.
what does Derek Carr do the best? Please respond. Deep play action shots to Shaheed.
That's about it, bro. That's about it, man. Like,
Is that sustain? And that's not a
not sustainable at all. Like,
Anyway, let's hit from Underdog. We'll come back. Let's talk about. We'll hit some prospects and talk about was it the Bo Davis news that people were really excited about today, and then we'll wrap up. But hear from our sponsor Tony said Kellen couldn't even blink twice to tell us he was being held hostage.
And that man behind closed doors, brother. Help me.
He said, Nick, if you're listening, can I come back? All right.
Do you want to win 1,000 times your money? You can now with Underdog. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog, an app that has over 100,000 five-star reviews and millions of players. I love Underdog Fantasy. This week, I'm looking at Pelicans versus Utah Jazz and picking CJ McCollum for higher than 30 points and Kenyon George for lower than 24 points. Download the app, sign up with promo code Block Party, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code Block Party. Must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado for some games. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24/7 Hope Line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369.
We are back. So let's get. I don't want to talk too much about the Tyler Warren thing because I do want to save it. So we are going to do hopefully a Mason Graham Prospect of the Week episode this weekend, hopefully on Sunday, and then next week there's not going to be a poll. We're just going to do a Tyler Warren Prospect of the Week episode next weekend. But so I'm not gonna say too much about it, but I will say this: the Saints do like him as a prospect. That is real. That is legitimate. To the point where I think they like him at 9. The sense I get right now, and that could change. That could absolutely change. Is I feel like they like him at 9 if certain players on their board are gone. Like, I don't know if he's currently in their top elite cloud and more like, hey, we like him at 9 if these players are gone type of thing. But we're gonna, yeah, Wayne, not even a poll. We just it's too much Tyler Warren juice out there right now.
Gotta get it in.
Just gotta get to him. So I'm not gonna give too many thoughts of Tyler Warren on this podcast. If you're a Patreon, if you're a YouTube member, we're gonna do a Prospect of the Week just on Tyler Warren. I literally watched every catch and target of his on my flight to Indy on the flight. So I've so anyway, but that's what I'll say. What would a trade with Tennessee look like in order to move up with Cam? I don't know, but I would not want to move up to 1 to draft.
Go look at when the Panthers moved from 9 to 1 to get Bryce Young. Yeah. That'll be a framework, and they're still paying for it right now.
Still.
It's gonna be somewhere in that round. No, thank you. I love Cam Moore too.
Don't love him that much.
No, not that much.
Marcelo, how real is Cam? Okay, guys, they met with him. They literally just met with him. Like, I think y'all will.
Saints met with Baker Mayfield back in 20 whatever. They meet with quarterbacks. It happens.
Marcelo, does that include Tet? Go listen to our Prospect of the Week episodes.
They are nothing about Tet, man. It's crazy. Not a lot of buzz about Tet. Period. Just in the whole. I mean, you tell me you was in the combine, like just hadn't heard much from him.
I don't even think. I don't know if I want to. We'll save this for the Matt Harmon episode. Got to catch up, man. The combine was special, man. Just like like football aside of it, being able to see and meet people that we've known and seen on Twitter for the last 10 to 15 plus years,
Right.
seen where they've come from, where we were just people on fucking Twitter talking football, and now they have careers in football. Matt Harmon's with Yahoo, with Reception Perception, doing this fucking thing. Saw my fucking dude John Shipley, known John Shipley dating back to Draft Countdown, Draft Breakdown, just very similar to Jake, and he's been covering the Jags for a fucking while. Like, the internet is shit for a lot of fucking reasons.
A lot of reasons.
That's fucking special, bruh. That's special.
I mean, look at us. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
Same thing.
You at the combine, we were at the Senior Bowl. Like, I would have never thought. You know what I'm saying? Never thought.
Never. Louisiana, this might be a dumb question. Sometimes I say like there are no dumb questions, but there's sometimes really dumb questions. So I'm gonna stop. I say that to clients, but like on the podcast, there are for sure dumb questions. What y'all think Trey Harris and Jaden Higgins are better receivers than Traycon Smith? That's an absolutely dumb question. Like what? Yes. Yes. To your question about Tet, yeah, like I didn't really hear a lot of buzz about him, and I just think it matches his tape, bruh. Like when you go put his tape on, you come away like, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah. All right, yeah, good.
It's just crazy because like all during the season, before I was even watching him, I just remember seeing on Twitter, man, Arizona wide receiver. Arizona wide receiver. I'm like, man, this dude must be cold. Boy, I couldn't wait to watch. And then you watch it like, okay, good player. Like
the hype he was getting, I expected him to at least be like Amari Cooper good. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Marcelo said, I just think at 9 you have to get a Justin Jefferson and not a Drake London. Drake London went at 8.
And Justin Jefferson went what?
In the 20s?
20 something? Yeah, like
yeah.
Just goes to show, like, you know.
He won the 20s. Let's talk prospects. So I was able to. So when I was there, I talked to it was all defensive linemen. Yes, spoke to all defensive linemen. It's funny. We did our Jalen Walker episode, and then I was able to speak to him at his presser. 100% understand how coaches can fall in love with like a prospects in their personality, bro. I get it. If you haven't seen it, I asked Jalen if he had spoken to the Saints. He hadn't. Also, didn't realize that he like was born and grew up in like North Carolina, South Carolina. Like someone asked him that at the presser and like asked him like how special, cool it would be for him to like be drafted by the Panthers. And as I heard that, I was like, we cooked. Nigga, we cooked, nigga.
Hometown kid too. Oh, man.
Alfred keeps saying, "Do you think they're putting that out there with the curveball to release or trading him, even bitching, talking about Carr?" That's typically not how the Saints operate. If a team were to approach them with the trade, I wouldn't. There's just one team I think that potentially would be interested. I wouldn't rule it out. The bench here. Thank you for bringing up the benching point, and I'll get back to my point of Jalen Walker. The benching thing is interesting because that's the thing I want to see. Is that if the season goes whatever, I mean, he's looking Russell Wilson-ish and he's not looking good. Where's that decision come from? Does Kellen Moore have the balls to say, all right, like
I tried.
But like I'm going with Rattler. I'm going with no Jake can't like I seen Jader for a half. No. Like, you know what I mean? But also another question is, I think is a really legit question that we should be asking is like, is training camp is it going to be an open quarterback competition?
I would have loved to hear that word competition, but I ain't even hear that.
No.
There's still some interesting things from that person, like just the whole they plan on discussing the contract with Derek Carr and working through it. Is like,
Because
what is there to work through?
Because you could, and Mike Garofalo said it, you can definitely tell that things, it seems like they have made their mind, but like things are not cemented yet.
Right.
So
Exactly.
and here, this would be like a such egg on the face thing. You roll with Derek Carr, bring him back, restructure him, whatever. If it goes into the season, restructure his contract, or even if they don't touch it, right? Let's just say they don't fucking touch it. They just bring him back or whatever he's getting paid. And he like doesn't play well midway through the season. He just looks meh. And then he gets benched. Do you know how awful that looks from like what this team has been so bad on what? We've been saying it for years, bro. Terrible at self-scouting. Do you know how bad of an indictment that would be at like the self-scouting department? I would have loved to been at that whatever it was, media scrum, because I would still love to be like, hey, can somebody still explain the Pete Warner contract extension to me? Because I still need to know. It still is stuck in my craw, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's like, okay, like I mean, are y'all gonna ask him to take a pay cut? I mean, he said he's not taking a pay cut. I mean, are y'all gonna just fully restructure his contract? There's no discussion that needs to be had there. That's already in the contract. Like you could just pull that lever and
It's restructured.
Oh, so are you gonna add years to it? Are you gonna stretch like money out and stuff like that to the future? Like,
Because if you were already going to if you were going to restruct it to like technically, why isn't that done already?
could do that right now. Like it's literally we're executing paragraph 18 of the contract or whatever. Just like that's it. And then there's like, okay, he's due 50 million next year. I think everybody knows he's not getting 50 million next year. Like, so are you gonna try to get him to negotiate that to carry him through 2026? Y'all looking that far with Derek Carr? It's like what is happening here? What is happening? I just need more answers, Adam. I need more answers. I don't know.
Anyway, let me show you.
J-Long.
Yeah, let me show you how easy it is to fall in love with the prospect. Because I'm in love with the prospect. Jalen, have you spoken to the Saints for a team that definitely needs some athleticism on defense?
I haven't spoken to Saints.
And what do you feel? I know you said being a chess piece is something you strive at. Do you feel you play one position that you like? What's your favorite position if you had to pick one?
I'm a ball player, so just being on the field is my favorite position. I mean, just being everywhere. You just don't know that anticipation of being at the outside backer one snap, and then being an inside backer in one snap, and then being a star the next snap. It gives me the comfort of that they don't know what element of surprise is going to hit them next. So.
Football player, baby.
Nigga, that's Dante's twin, bro. That's Dante, bro.
Dude, like Dante, bro. You do.
Even his mannerism when he was talking, bro, I just kept saying like, that's Dante right there, bro. One of your favorite players, one of Kevin's favorite players, Jahai Campbell, Alabama linebacker, who absolutely tore it up today. Tore it up today. Talk to him like it's crazy. Talk to him yesterday, Ryan. He goes out and does this today. Because I just asked him about linebackers being more in vogue, and he asked me like, "What do you mean by that?" But with linebackers being kind of quote unquote in vogue in the NFL again,
what do you mean by that?
Like being valued, like the spotlight in terms of like being back in the spotlight again. Yeah. What are the qualities that you would bring to a defense that's selected in the draft?
I mean, I feel as though I'm Mr. Can do it all. I'm a Swiss Army knife, as I can say. I could blitz to the A gap. I could come off the edge. I could play middle runner, tempo two. I could drop strong hook curl match, whatever you want me to do. I could play man to man on the receiver, tight end, running back, anything.
Whew. Just getting goosebumps in here, bro. Football up in here, baby.
Both of those players are absolutely fucking goons, bruh. Goons. And
Give me.
The Saints need every conceivable good player that they muster. One point I wanted to make going back to the whole Tyler Warren thing and the Derek Carr thing, and someone made the point on our Discord, and I just made it too. Just the juxtaposition of having Derek Carr and then potentially them drafting Tyler Warren at 9, when for the past 2 seasons this man does not target the middle of the field. He doesn't look at the middle of the field, Ryan. So you're gonna go potentially bring in a tight end who we'll keep that for our Prospect of the Week episode. You're gonna go get him a tight end who specializes on seam routes and getting vertical and going down the seam.
I just had a thought. I was thinking about, because how Kellen Moore, he likes to run those shallow crosses and those kind of deep crosses and stuff like that.
Yep.
That ain't Derek Carr bag, bro.
Not at all, bro.
I just got a picture in my head of some of those plays. I'm like,
I know that ball is gonna be behind him, or that ball is gonna be at his feet, bro.
I can see it already. It get blown up. Poor Olave. Oh my God, Olave. I'm not even gonna put that out there. Not even putting that out there.
Wait, what? Who the fuck is this? Watch the film guy. Dante. I don't know who this.
Watch the tape.
Why not? The same thought. Watch the film. Check the tape. Dante, can you ever get this? Whoever this watch the film guy is,
get Derek Carr there.
Get him. It's just one thing I will say. When the news came out, being disconnected as a fan emotionally, I was just like,
oh man,
all right, like, cool. Like I don't know. Don't.
It just
Hold on. Okay, hold on. I asked Dante to remove watch the film and kick him out of the chat. Tell me why Dante kicked out Wayne instead, bruh.
Wayne, like, what did I do?
Hilarious. I'm trying to think anything else from the combine.
I'm interested about Jalon though, man, because his measurements came in. He's about 6'1", 243. Interesting player, bro. Just an interesting player. Like, he's a, like, it's how do you view him? Like we talked about weeks ago, as far as like he's such a, like, how do you use him type of player? Like, the Cardinals, when they were drafting players, don't care. Like, he's a dog. Like, football player, dog. You figure it out. It out.
I feel like if you are struggling to figure out how to use him, you are already fucking, like, you already are fucking yourself up as a evaluator of football.
Yep. Straight up.
Because I feel like as a good defensive coordinator would be like,
give me.
I already, like, I'm going to use them here. I'm going to use them there. I'm going to use them
exactly.
There. Because I even tried to, like, maybe, because I asked this about Jalen. I asked this about Abdul, and I don't think I uploaded it. I didn't upload it. But I asked Abdul Carter what his favorite position, which is crazy. Can you just think about that? Us as a podcast, I know you weren't there, and I know you're going to be there next year, but us as a podcast asking a presumptive top 3 pick a question at the combine, and asked him what his favorite position, because everyone's asking about his versatility, blah blah. Okay, cool, I get that. But what do you like to play? What position do you like to play? And he said, blah blah. But he gave me an answer, which I appreciated. And then the news comes out, yesterday about the foot structure and stress and whatever. And shout out to my dude Jake, and he was texting me when I was waiting. He told me that. Anyway, Abdul said his favorite position is play defensive end. But my dude Jake is kind of saying, like, for what he knows working with athletes, that he doesn't think that Abdul's body can, his body's not made to hold that weight, to be like 260. From what he knows, and he kind of observed like his movement skills and his body, because he works with athletes. That's what he knows. He said he probably needs to be around 240, kind of like Booty Bandit Michael Parsons, because he thinks that all these like nagging injuries that he's gotten recently is because he put on weight to play defensive end for Penn State this past season, and his body's like, these extra 20 pounds, nah, bruh. Like, Jake knows his shit. That's why I'm glad Jake is kind of involved with the process, because I'm learning a lot of fascinating shit that I would not. It's not in my realm. I would never even think about. Louisette asked, "What do y'all think about the Abdul Carter news? Do y'all think he falls? Maybe? Nah.
Nope.
Nah.
It's it's not that big a deal. Like you know some things like long term. Like, okay, what. Is this going to be a guy that's going to deal with like foot injuries and stuff for his career? Maybe, but no, it didn't. It has no bearing on this season.
Before we wrap up, wanted to get us caught up on the coaching news. So the Saints have, I will say, they have gone out. I'm about to say Bo Nix. Bo Dallas?
Bo Diddley?
It's Bo Dallas. No. Yeah. Bo Dallas, they left LSU. People who were LSU fans were like in an uproar this morning. Coach their defensive line. He will be the defensive lineman coach for the Saints. And then they also added from Texas.
TJ.
It was like Terry something. Terry Joseph. Texas assistant who is he was their defensive pass game coordinator, and he's going to be the Saints. He's their secondary coach. Sorry, secondary coach.
Yep.
So they're dipping their toe a lot into college coaches, and they also hired the Cal defensive coordinator, whose name is escaping me, to be the linebackers coach.
A lot of college guys on the defensive side under Brandon Staley. It's interesting.
Justin Wilcox, thank you. Defensive passing game coordinator will be Terry's position. And one thing I like about this, especially the Terry Joseph, is there's some good ass Texas defensive players in this draft, bruh, and the secondary.
Yep.
I love me some Barron. Love me some Barron. I also love me some Andrew. I want to hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Mambuka, who like is just he's a thumper, bro. Like, he's an enforcer, safety. Probably get him in like the third round. Like that second third rounder that they got from the Commanders, or like that fourth rounder, Mambuka would be perfect from that. Peter Sermon. Sorry, yeah, Peter Sermon is the Cal coach. So I'll say this: the staff around Kellen is coming together nicely. Thursday, I forgot to put this on our schedule. Next Thursday, we're going to have our dude Cody Alexander coming on, joining us at 1 p.m. Pacific time, breaking down Kellen Moore's offense, breaking down Brandon Staley's defense on a sicko football
Sicko level. All the 3-4 and 4-3 stuff questions y'all got, we getting deep, like deep.
And I told Cody to have some clips, so send them our way so we could have them, pull them up. Cody got some clips, so he's gonna send some clips my way. So we'll have those ready for us and everything. So we will have all that ready to go. So like the scheme and shit coming on Thursday. Someone asked a good question. Jashawn said, any players that caught y'all's attention, like players who are not talked about enough. JTT, Ohio State. Jake brought him to my attention during the season, and I was kind of like, and then he kind of went on this insane. He's a defensive end out of Ohio State. Went on a heater during the playoffs. I'll say this about the combine, bro. Like, it's funny. I didn't really like that personality shit, bro. It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's like you talked about how just like how Sean Payton to fall in love with a player at the combine, bro. It's a real thing, right?
Like he talked to Brandon Cooks at the combine, and literally like it was that, and it was Cooks' tape, and they didn't after that they didn't have any interaction with Brandon Cooks after that, bro. Not a single word, and they traded up and they drafted him. I like being there and having like brief interaction. I'm not even talking like these. They have like these are like teams have like very like in-depth interviews or whatever. I'm talking like a 15, 20 second speed date, bro. And I'm like, ooh.
I like you.
But I did. Here's the interaction I had with JTT. JTT loves Jesus, which I don't know why I said that, but like some people are like, no, I don't want my DEs loving Jesus, but like it felt like that's who he is. Like it's real. Like that's a part of him, and I just like. And anyway, but this is my I talked to him at his presser, but he also fucking football player, good ass football player, defensive end. Like he strikes me as someone, and you know how Jeff Ireland loves Ohio State players that could be. No, I'm not saying there was anything wrong with that on Louisiana. I'm just saying I don't know why I kind of just threw that in randomly, but the reason I said that is like he kept saying it like over and over and over again at his presser. That maybe could be an option for the Saints at 40, but this was JTT.
Saints have drafted a lot of Ohio State players over the years. Have you spoken to them as a team that desperately needs a boost in their pass rush?
Yeah, yes, sir. I've spoken to them. I mean, it's great, meeting Coach Moore. It was just, it's an honor. I mean, Saints are a great team. Chase Young is over there, so we got a chance to see him and just, his game just continue to elevate. And I think over there, it's a great team. I mean, it's a place where I haven't really visited New Orleans. I don't know how you guys say New Orleans, but I mean, I'll be blessed to play anywhere. And if they draft me, I'll be honored and blessed to go and just contribute.
So third player, right?
I'm so easy.
But like the tape, I gotta like again. I gotta see like you can't be engaging and then I put in your tape and you just trash, bro.
Right. No, you gotta have some tape.
But like one thing I will say, and I know a lot of Saints fans are very high on this player. I feel like with prospects, not entirely, but sometimes you just gotta like. There's something about going on with vibes. I'm not saying he's not gonna be a good player. I'm not saying he might end up great, bruh. Being at the Mike Green presser, I didn't ask him a question. I don't know what it was, Ryan.
Just don't like the vibe, huh?
I didn't like the vibe. I felt like I don't know. I can't describe it. Like it felt like maybe part of it like he felt like it was like he was being asked about like a sexual fucking assault that happened in Virginia, and so maybe it was just like that over like aggression in terms of like defending it. Mm-hmm. But I I have to like read and feel people for a living. Like that's part of my job. That's part of my career over the last 10 years. But just the way, like I get it, bro. Like you went to like you transferred from Virginia to, what was it, not Tulane,
Marshall.
Marshall, because of a pretty fucking serious allegation. I don't know what happened, but it was a very serious allegation. And so you carry that quote unquote, as Patrick Claiborne would say, this chip alert with you. But like the aura and the presence, it feels like it's like always overcompensating because you were at a smaller school. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like it just came across that way. And it just I was just like,
I texted you yesterday, bro. Something rubbed me wrong about him. I can't. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Something just rubbed me wrong about him. I don't know. Like, I don't know. We'll see. You know, it just could be projection or some shit. I don't know.
could be. I don't think they would draft him because I feel like this team needs more like a defensive tackle. Like this team strikes me like a Walter Nolan type of team. But he would, and I don't like. I would just be astonished to. I don't know if he would meet their metrics in terms of because he's just light in the pants. Cause I also feel like that's an overcompensation. Like it's the small school and him being lighter. Like so he feel like it's this constant has to like overcompensate and whatever for it. But like he would make a lot of sense for the Steelers if they didn't have a need at defensive tackle.
Yeah, I could see that.
In their scheme. Anyway, that was a player that I was just like about. Don't know anything about Derek Carr. Sorry. Trying to think anything else. Besides Ian Rappaport and Jordan Schultz. Jordan Schultz, fucking big boy, and Ian Rappaport. Left Indy too soon, bro. Left Indy too soon.
I'm glad you went, bro. That was great to see that out brand. I love that Terry Fontenot clip where he's like, hey, was that a Mardi Gras shirt or something? What you got on, man? You know, it's say it's block party right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
And funny thing is, Terry was in the front office when Sean was there, and Sean used to listen to us when we were Saints Twitter podcast. So like, come on, Terry.
You know what's up. You know what's up, Terry.
Help to play me. But I will say this in terms of I asked Raheem Morris the question about Kyle Pitts, and I appreciate his. And this is why, like, I just go back to the whole Saints and their whole controlled media and just like the 180 and the juxtaposition. Kyle Pitts, or not Kyle Pitts, Raheem Morris was like, you know, we've seen some flashes from Kyle Pitts, but like, there's been some but obviously there's some things that we haven't seen from him, and we as a team we need to figure out like why that is. Like, what, like, honesty. Because obviously Kyle Pitts has not lived up to being a 4th overall fucking draft pick. And another question I really wanted to ask Terry, and I should have stayed there longer, honestly, is I should have asked, when drafting Kyle Pitts and then Jamar Chase goes right after, what has changed in your guys' evaluation process when you've seen their careers play out?
I feel like they got an order from up top to go defense, because it's like I saw the stories where it's like only the defensive coaches are there at the combine. They only interviewing defensive players. It's like
they scream if he falls to them. You can that is a Shamar Stewart team 100%.
Oh yeah, I completely see that.
And speaking of the whole Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase thing, that I think that part maybe not 100%, but I think also, I don't know if it was a Terry thing. I heard a lot of things that they felt a certain type of way about players who sat out the COVID season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams did.
A lot of teams did. This is something that's just gone. Like, you just don't even think about that. Like, remember the players, sitting out for COVID and all that. And that was like an actual thing at some point.
That's right. I forgot about that completely.
That was an actual thing people talked about. That's just completely forgotten.
Last question Eddie asked, or as we wrap up, Eddie asked, how was the makeup of the media there? A lot of fucking white people. A lot of fucking white men. I'm being honest, and it's something, I tweeted about it. Like, I was in the media room. It is 95%, I would say, white male. That's it. You get a splattering of black people. You get a splattering of women, but it is 95% white men.
You pull D'Orlando Ledbetter up there, Steve Weiss.
He's an interesting
you can't miss
bro.
You can't miss D'Orlando. Like,
he was right next
to the Senior Bowl. Yeah, that's what he just. I respect him.
Can't miss him. But we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. It's been a week for me. We wrapping up. I know it's Mardi Gras weekend season coming up. Jay Sean asked, any players that caught y'all attention? Oh yeah, JTT definitely. Cal Kennard, he was on the South Carolina defensive line. He's a good player. Can't think of anyone else right now.
That's crazy. Dan Jackson didn't get an invite to the combine.
That is, I haven't watched any of him at all. I know have you watched him?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Landon Jackson might crack top round 1, bro.
Think so? It wouldn't surprise me. Like, when I watched him, I thought he's a late first, early second type.
That feels about right.
Because, I won't go into a deep breakdown, but there are games where he's dominating, bro. Like, whew. And then there are games where he just disappears. So it's just like one of them things you got to figure out. But
I know I think he tested really well today.
Oh yeah, I knew he was going to test well. Long arms. He got I saw him go crazy against Alabama, bro. Like,
Alabama.
Yeah. He got skill. I like him, bro. I like him. Like, it's just he's just kind of in a weird spot where the Saints are, because too early. The 9 is obviously too early, and 40 probably won't be there. So
I think people are getting prospect fatigue with Will Johnson. Hope he's there for us at 9. He's 100.
He gonna be there.
Will Johnson is 100% going to be there at 9. 100% going to be there at 9. I've heard. Listen, me and my good friend have healthy arguments about Will Johnson. They are very hesitant of him as a prospect. I can't, and some other things that they've heard about him, I can't let go of 2023 Will Johnson. Like, I can't let his tape from 2023 go. I think his pro day is going to be, I think, a legitimate concern. We talked about this on a Prospect of the Week episode. If you're a Patreon, this is why you got to become Patreon. Patreon.com/Saints Block Party. We did a whole Patreon episode on Will Johnson. 30, 40 minutes just talking Will Johnson. His long speed, his straight long speed. What is he going to run? That is a legitimate concern. I've heard that. That also might be a reason why he didn't run there at the combine.
Gotta get a little more speed training in.
If he's there at 9, Adam, he has to be the pick. Go listen to our Prospect of the Week episodes. You will know the Saints. You will know the Saints cloud. Please. I'm not going to entertain it anymore.
Patreon.com/Saints Block Party.
Literally $1 a month. Anyway, we will hopefully be back this weekend speaking Patreon, talking Mason Graham. I will let the cat out of the bag. My number 1 overall prospect in the fucking draft. Also, I've never done a 180 on a prospect as quickly as I did on Mason Graham.
Complete 180.
Went from he is trash to I need him immediately. But we hopefully we'll be recording that early Sunday morning, if we can. Fingers crossed. But this is like a 40-minute episode. We'll hopefully be able to record that Sunday morning, and then I will be wrapping up Combine in totality Sunday night, NFL Daily with our dude Greg Rosenthal, and then and then next week we are back at it as always, and we'll do our own kind of Combine recap episode. We might do a little we haven't done one in a while. Do a I think it might be mock draft similar time. We might do a little mock draft. Yeah, I don't do them anymore. I can't handle them. But it might be mock draft similar time, post Combine mock draft similar.
Yeah.
But we'll be back. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Stay safe out there. And we will be back hopefully this week. We'll more likely be back this weekend for YouTube members and Patreons only, and then back next week after that. Make sure catch me representing our podcast on NFL Daily with Greg Rosenthal.
Please.
Podcast. Probably be up. That episode will probably be up on Monday. With that, we are out.
Peace.